right in the kisser.
Hey, how the devil are you? Right, what have we got today? We've got the new AIYIMA S500 active speakers. These are the upgraded ones from the S400s. So, I mean, they're still pretty small, but they are quite a bit bigger than the original ones. Don't know what kind of sound we're going to get out of these really, but we'll see during this video. But they're only, I think, in the UK, they're selling for £110, so pretty cheap. Anyway, let's bring the camera in closer and have a good look around these speakers. And here they are. So what do we have? We've got a 25mm or 1-inch soft dome tweeter, and down here we have a 4-inch or 100cm mid-bass driver. I don't know what material that is, but there we are. It's a nice gold effect. They got a plastic front baffle, and the cabinet is made of MDF. I mean, they sound a bit different because one contains all the components, but they seem all right for the price. I mean, these are going for, like I said, 110 quid. So for the price, they're pretty well made. Anyway, let's have a little look on the back. Okay, on the back, they're reported. We've got volume control, yoink, yoink, yoink. Bass, treble and bass. So these are, I think, plus and minus 6 dB. Got a standby button here, your input selector and your EQ. I think there's 3 EQs, which we'll look at a bit later. Optical input. Now it's good to see a sub out because they are a small speaker, so I can't imagine they go down super low. So having a sub out is a great option to have. You've got line in and then USB, and this is not to connect to a computer. We haven't got that on here, so that's unfortunate. But this is for media. So if you've got some media, you want to play music on a USB stick, you can slap that in there, Bob's your uncle. And then you've got speaker out, that connects to the other speaker here, yoink. Right, we've also got, hang on a minute, let's get these out of the way. Right, let's push them out of the way. Right, guys, come over here. Thank you. So here we have the power supply. We've got the RCA to RCA to connect the speakers together here. You've got an RCA to 3.5mm jack, so you can plug that in. I suppose you could plug that into a headphone socket on a PC. I mean, RCA here, and that to your headphone socket on your PC or laptop. It is not ideal because you're using the DAC in the PC or laptop and they don't tend to be the best. I mean, it'll work fine, but I think if you're going to connect these up and you're serious about it to a PC, I would definitely get a DAC in between there, something like the SMSL SU1, something like that. That's about 80 quid. So it would add to the price, but there we go. Maybe something you could do in the future. And you've got your remote control. Remote control. There's a remote control. That's not a remote control, is it? No. That's your instructions there. Instruct. There we go, right. And there you've got the remote control. So on the remote, we've got standby, mute, volume, play, and skip track. I reckon that'll only work with the Bluetooth. You've got the Bluetooth there, USB input selector, I'm guessing that is, line, reset. Then you've got your EQs, only 3 EQs on it. So you've got movie, music, and dialogue. So you can plug a TV into the back of these in the optical and use it for dialogue, music, and movies. There you go. Okay, let's have a little look at the specs on these. So it's Bluetooth version 5. 5.2 is better. 5 is okay though. That's fine for what you need for these. Rated power is 60 watts. I think that's RMS. Max power being 120. Now, this is funny. I'm pretty sure that should say signal to noise ratio. And that's above 80 dB. Now, sex to noise ratio, I can relate that to, I used to live in a flat and the neighbours above did have a sex to noise ratio of above 80 dB. So maybe I'll tell AIYIMA they need to change that to signal, potentially. Distortion is under 1%. which is reasonable. It's not the greatest, reading. 1%, just above 1% is where you could, if you've got good ears, you start hearing some noise distortion. But it's under 1%, so you should be fine with that. Frequency response is 60 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So as I thought, 60 hertz, it's okay for this size speaker, but I reckon, and we'll try it out later on in the video, we'll try it with a sub, but I do think it might need a sub. Maybe at near field listening it might not, but we'll see. One thing I quickly want to mention, be very careful because these tweeters aren't covered. And when moving them, my fingers touch the soft dome tweeter. Now, and that's just by accident, just moving them around. So be careful of that. I would like to see these covered, a grill on the front or side. I know it may change the sonic signature of it. I don't know, potentially, but a cover on there would be good because my kids, especially my younger one, she's coming up 4 years old. She'd be interested in poking that, right? So just be aware. I've turned them around and I've touched that a couple of times. So be aware of that. I also forgot to mention there's on the front here, you've got a light selector, and when you go through your inputs and things, that light's different colors. Okay, so I've got them set up, going into the back of my SMSL raw DAC and my raw DAC into my PC. And like I said, you can do it from the headphone socket, but it won't be quite as good. But saying that, I did try them with the Bluetooth, the SBC, and hey, it wasn't bad. I'm actually surprised just how much bass comes out of these little speakers, relative to the size. They're not going to sound like the 12.2s, they're not. But I was like, it's really punchy, it's well composed. I was like, what? I will say I did find there was a little bit of a bump in the upper mid-range a little bit, and they are quite a bright sounding speaker. So what I did, I preferred to have them with the bass controls. I had them set to plus 2 dB on the bass and minus 1 dB on the treble, and I kind of leveled out that brightness on the top with the treble, and that seemed to work for me fine. And I'm actually quite impressed the sound these put out. What I put on what did I put on? New Order Blue Monday, and the bit in the beginning, dum 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 dum. I was like, what? What the bloody hell? I'm quite shocked actually. Did they put out like the same bass as the 12.2s and the HA1 amp? No, they don't. But you got to think these are 110 quid, right? Anyway, so what I've done a little sound test, and I've compared them going through my SMSL raw DAC one out from the computer, going against the 12.2s going out of the HA1. So have a listen to this. And there you go. So what do you think? I mean, it's hard to tell over YouTube, isn't it? One song. But I'll give you my opinion. I thought that in comparison, I thought that the IEMAs were a bit more forward. Didn't quite have as much bass as the 12.2s, but for the size, flipping heck, right? And the price. Yeah, they are a little bit more forward. There is a little bit of a bump in the mid-range at the top, but I guarantee some people may prefer that more forward sound than the laid-back Wharfies. Okay, some people may prefer that. And with a subwoofer, great. And I think that if you use them at low listening volumes, you probably will need that sub, especially if you're going to do with movies. And if you drive them really, really hard, if you push them to the limit, they do start losing their composure a bit. One thing I did notice is that when there's no music playing or no sound coming through them, they do give off a little bit of a buzzing sound. So I'll just turn them on a sec. It's actually not buzzing, it's a hiss. Now, you probably won't hear it from here, so I'll move my mic closer and hopefully it'll pick it up. Did that pick it up? I don't know. I won't know until the editing. But there is a very slight hiss. But as soon as you play music, even at lower volumes, you can't hear it. It's not detectable. It's not audible. But just wanted you to be aware of that if you do decide to get them. Anyway, so purchase links will be in the description box below. I do get a small commission for it, but it's no cost to you. So if you are going to buy them, use the links. Great. And also, any comments, any feedback, anything you want to let me know, stick it in the comment section. Anyway, that's come to the end of the video. I'll catch you in the next one.